All right, scent has been used to determine disease even before the invention of modern medicine. Now, new technology that's in the experimental stage is using odors in someone's breath to detect what's wrong with them. Dr. Sabrina Fabi is here to kind of break this down. Dr. Fabi, thanks for being here. Talk to me about this scent. What do? Walk into the doctor's office and like really
even our
breathe on them?
smartphones may be able to tell us what's wrong with us one day.
Right.
And be called sniff phones, actually. And so this is nothing new. The ancient Greeks used this as well, not just our breath, but our urine as well. And we know sometimes that the urine of diabetics can smell like rotten apples. And so there is something to sense. Each of us has our own almost chemical fingerprint that's partly biologic, gender, genetics, race, all of these things have an influence. But along those lines, every disease also has its own chemical fingerprint. And that's what really this technology is tapping into.
Right, and in fact, I think I've heard this like with dogs being able to detect scents and find like cancer, for example, in somebody. Talk to me about the technology side of things, like, and maybe something that you could eventually see in your field.
I know, so that's exactly what it's based off of. Dogs, we know, can detect if someone's going to have an epileptic seizure, or they can even recognize if someone's hypoglycemic. And we know that rats can also detect tuberculosis in certain areas. So this is all based on scent. Using this knowledge, there's a technology institute called Technion in Tel Aviv that has most recently been looking into something now called nanos. And so they're taking scents that we know are emitted from conditions like multiple sclerosis to cancer to even Crohn's disease. So there's presently over 15 different diseases that have been detected, and they're able to basically put it into some type of testing so that it can be tested. And so now there's about 7 different companies that have licensed this technology, from some that have actually found 86% accuracy when this breath test is used. And so in some cases, this is even better than some blood tests, but in other cases, we're not quite there yet. Like malaria, for instance, is an area like Africa, Malawi, Africa, for instance, where they do blood tests, it's 90 to 95% accurate. When you do the breath test in those areas, it's about 83% accurate. So in some conditions, there's room for improvement.
I just got a couple seconds. Is that where you would say that you've got the biggest challenges with breath analysis?
Yeah, in areas, third world areas like Africa, where I was actually there doing work on the malaria vaccine, it's very hard to get a lot of people in, draw blood, and then it's not always very accurate when you're doing blood smears and trying to test whether someone actually has malaria or not. So a breath test could test many people and be able to be a little bit more accurate, providing care more rapidly in some of these indigenous areas.
Right, really fascinating. Next time you go to the doctor, make sure you let them smell your breath, I guess.
Don't use any mouth rinse, I guess,
right,
beforehand.
Exactly. Don't chew gum. Dr. Fabi, always great to have you. Thanks.
Thanks, Jen.